Good evening, all. We are live tonight from the Gold Coast Sports Rewind Digital Podcast. I am joined by BJ and Davo again tonight, fellas. BJ, I've been speaking to you all afternoon, mate. I don't need to talk to you right now. Davo, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Just chilling on a Tuesday night.
Still on Tuesday night. Plenty of sport on this week, mate. You've been pretty lucky watching a bit of Ashes. The Wimbledon's on now. Tour de France. We've got plenty of baseball on. Good part of the year.
Yeah, not much sleep's being had, so it is what it is, and that's what happens this time of year when you're up till 2 o'clock or whatever watching cricket. So can't get enough of it.
Absolutely. Randall, how are you, mate?
Fresh, mate. I'm fresh. I had my nap this afternoon, so I'm good now.
Yeah.
I needed it too.
For those that are joining us new to the show, this is a weekly podcast where we try to get some guests on, but tonight is a special edition. We're up in the Gold Coast for the Down Under Winter Classic here on the Gold Coast, from under 10s right through to under 18s. We've got a couple of coaches lined up for you tonight, some of the coaches that are up here, and we're going to talk through some of the things that they're facing during the tournament, but also from the tournament and beyond. So we've got Howe and Campbell up first. They're backstage in the green room. Usually we leave some beer and some cookies back there, but the boys are on the ice waters tonight. They got big games tomorrow. Fellas, how are we?
Very good. Thanks for having us, boys.
No worries at all. Mate, matching shirts too. Up there in the penthouse.
Yeah, just a couple of dads doing the best they can.
His is a bit bigger, but anyway.
Matching biceps too.
I didn't know it was flexing.
It's the angle. Just trying to get the belly.
It's always the way, isn't it, Campbell? Just push it underneath to make it seem a bit larger.
Just rest it.
All right. We had a rain day on the Gold Coast today, fellas. What did you guys get up to today? Anything with the teams?
Yeah, I actually took my team out. We organised a bit of a day at the bowling. We did some zone bowling, and then we did some laser tag. So I held a few of them down and shot them around and told them who was boss. So yeah, mate. But just build a bit of camaraderie with the fellas. We've got a good group of kids that are, a good mix of kids from Western Sydney and that, but a couple of Newey, Central Coast and Hills kids. So just wanted to kind of build a bit of that, a bit of mateship while we've got a day off, So, it was a good day out. So, time to recharge the batteries and go again.
Yeah, it's good. The under 16 or 16 new Sea Dogs, we went our separate ways today. Today was a chance for the coach to relax, to recover after a few big days. So, they were left to their own devices with their families. I think it was a family day. It was for the 16 Sea Dog.
That's fair, mate. I know.
A true rest day. a rest for the coach.
It was necessary.
Mate, you blokes would be up against a few challenges coaching this style of tournament, not knowing a lot of the kids coming in. I guess how do you coach something like that where you don't know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are?
Yeah, that's always difficult, especially, coming into, last year I coached the 14 new Sea Dogs, and then this year with the 16 new. It is a challenge, but it's also something to look forward to. Get an opportunity to meet new players. I think, yes, obviously winning is important. We do place value on winning these games, but I think at the heart of it, I think it really comes down to the development of these players. So having the opportunity to meet 10 new players, which I've only got 10 kids in my side, it gives me an opportunity to go pass on some knowledge or what my knowledge is and how I would go about day-to-day baseball, how the strategy of winning a game, or just playing the game. So I think that definitely overrides any kind of challenges that we may have on the coaching level of pitch counts, who can play what position. At the end of the day, winning is important, but getting to pass on our knowledge to 10 kids, maybe, 8 of these kids is the first time we've met, is really important. And I think that's a strength rather than seen as a weakness.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll reiterate that as well. Like, with the 14U Rockhounds blue team, I'm the same. I've got 10 young guys. 3 of them I had the opportunity to coach last year and be an assistant coach with last year. So that's great. But also, the 7 guys I haven't been exposed to. And literally, there's a young fella from Newcastle, from where I'm from. It's another young fella from the Central Coast, which I'm currently residing in. And I haven't been exposed to those guys at all. So it's good for me to get to know those guys, but it's also good for them to understand, what we can pass on and what they can learn from us. So like Howie said, winning, we'd love to win every game. Everyone, I don't think there's anyone that plays baseball to lose baseball games, but just to pass on what we can impart on them and help them grow as baseballers. And what better way to do it with 10 kids when you're running a competition, hopefully to play 7 or 8 games across the week,
Yeah. 10 players, mate, makes it hard for pitching for both of you blokes, with pitching restrictions and things like that. If you had back-to-back double-header days, I'm assuming it's going to be pretty tough. Everyone's going to get a pitch at some stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, we started out with day 1 being a double header, and then the second day being just a single game in the morning. Now, with today's rain out, that kind of really helps us in terms of our pitching restrictions, setting us up for the rest of the week, especially tomorrow only being 1 game. It was going to be tough. If we had 2 games today, we only had 7 pitches available to get through both games. Now, you would think, if that's a one-off, if we weren't playing tomorrow or the rest of the week, you're like, yeah, okay, 7 players, that's fine. But we've got to be able to get through today's game to then try and get through tomorrow as well. So today was going to be very difficult for us. It was definitely going to be a couple of opportunities. But with today's rain out, it could be, a positive in disguise for the 16U team, because we do, I think a strength of ours is our arms. Obviously we have struggled defensively this tournament, but we, hope to improve that moving forward. But so we could line up. We got, I would say we probably got 3 top-tier arms, 3 to 4 top-tier arms in our side. So, 3 of those being left-handed pitchers. So, if we can line up, play some good defense behind, realistically, we only need to score 2 to 3 runs per game, and we would be in a really strong position. And the way it's worked out, we've got the Rockhounds tomorrow, 16U Rockhounds tomorrow, and then the T-Bones the following day. So if we can knock off a win tomorrow and then knock off a win the next day, then we've got an opportunity to really opportunity to be successful for the tournament. Isn't it good to have our fearless leader in the house?
Mate, he's here.
By the way.
What happened to no hate speech? Spam.
I feel violated.
Yeah. Just on that as well, with the 14s, we've got some younger kids. So, talking where Howie's talking with 16 kids, bit bigger body, bit bigger athletes. 10 kids is hard to manage. So when you're talking from a pitching perspective, we were going into a doubleheader today, and as the draw turns out, we've got a doubleheader tomorrow. It just kind of flips on its head a bit. So you really got to rely on, what the outcomes were with other teams to see where you can really stack your stronger arms versus your weaker arms, or, you got to manage your playing time with your roster. So it is hard with 10 guys. So we've got a plan together for the 14U guys. Rockhounds will come out strong. We're sitting in a pretty good position, and we're going to give it to the Bums tomorrow afternoon.
I think one of the – sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, if I can just finish off, like in tournament baseball, it's very different to any other style of baseball that, these kids may be playing week to week, or us coaching week to week, or playing ourselves. Is, it's really important that, when their kids are pitching, that we really pitch to contact. Our main focus is pitching to contact, be as efficient as possible. And defense. If our pitcher gets a ground ball in the game into the infield, we need to be able to pick that up, set our feet, and throw a strike to first base. It's really crucial. I think that's where we've been hurt earlier in the like on the first day of the tournament, where we weren't able to do that. Like one of our top tier pitchers really blew out his first inning. We made 3 or 4 errors in the first inning of that game. Pitch count meant even though he was pitching really well, he could only go 2 innings. And then obviously with pitch restrictions, etc., he had to come out, sit out for a day. We got him back tomorrow. That's where in these style tournaments, I know Campbell and I spoke about it today, is pitching's definitely at the forefront of our mind, because obviously we're both competitive individuals as well. We want to win. We want to coach well, we want to teach, we want to develop. And on the flip side of that, we want to teach these kids how to play the game correctly. And that's in these styles, it's pitching and defense. Pitching and defense will win this tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Just before you guys go, we're going to get our next guest on. Campbell, are you muted? Just give us a nod, mate, just to make sure you're still awake.
We're good, mate.
But what are some of the things? I know there's a representative side picked out of this to go away to further play some more tournament baseball. What are some of the things that you can tell the youngsters out there on what, the little things that they may be looking for, not just playing wise?
Yeah, okay. So I was a part of that representative team. Like I was able to coach. I was fortunate enough to coach that team, a 16U team that went to Florida last year. It's fantastic exposure. I think that's what we all need to. Every parent that is in a position that they can provide that to their child needs to realise if their child is hoping to go to the next level and potentially play baseball in America at some stage in order to progress and move through the ranks. I think, if they are in a position to put their child in that arena, I think they need to do it, because it provides you multiple opportunities in front of professional scouts, college coaches, college pathways, the perfect game scenario, which is just full exposure. So on the flip side for us, what we're looking for is we're looking not only for some really well-rounded athletes, some people that deserves probably not the right word, but have earned that opportunity to go along with the Aussie Drop Bears and are part of these trips, but also someone we can trust. We have to, we think about it. It's really important that, that the Aussie Drop Bears, we provide these teams, provide these opportunities that when we go over to Florida or, these US trips that we're considered, when we leave, is that we're considered in high regard. We can't sell something that we're not delivering on. So, we need to ensure that, the ones that we're selecting, obviously well-rounded baseball players, but someone we can trust off the field as well. So, like I said, it's a fantastic opportunity for exposure and chance to progress and provide analytic stats for people, but for the perfect game and at college and professional scouts. But it's something that needs to, we need to be able to trust you as coaches, as, facilitators, etc.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, mate, we were talking today about, I guess, the seminar that's on tomorrow night as well, and how important that is for parents and kids to get to, because there is a whole heap of information about going to different levels over there. It's not just the D1 colleges that, kids are going to get, that exposure at. So I guess for you and me talking about that today, do you suggest all ages go to that seminar tomorrow night, or is it more towards the older kids?
Oh, mate, well, if any kid's got a dream out there to go to college or to progress their baseball career outside of the Down Under Winter Classic, or whether it's a local country champs or a nationals or whatever their thoughts are, absolutely. Peter Giles got a wealth of knowledge. He'll be able to point you in the right direction, and not only that, give you the right contacts and the right ways to go about that. This is something that we had a lot of kids get a lot of success from last year. And in regards to just talking to Peter, whether it's face to face or just listening to him and what his wealth of knowledge is, it's not all about signing with an MLB team. It's not all about signing with the D1 college. We've got a lot of Aussie kids at the moment in JUCOs and whether it's Division 2s or 2-year or 4-year JUCOs that are doing really well in those systems. And everyone can think that they're whether it's a JUCO or not, they're going to get noticed. You put up good numbers and you do good things, and you play the game the right way and you respect it the right way. That's when you get noticed. So. Absolutely. Me as an individual didn't get that opportunity. Howie totally different, right? So Howie went through the college process and did it all the right way and had a lot of success in that. So he can probably even talk to that to even a further extent. But absolutely, if there's any kid or any parent out there questioning where they're going to be in the next 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, or even further down the track, this is a perfect opportunity for those guys to go out, get some free information from some people that have had a lot of exposure over the years and done really well from Australian angles.
Completely agree.
Awesome. All right, fellas. Best of luck for the rest of the tournament. No doubt we'll see you over the next couple of days, and good luck tomorrow. And for the rest of the week. Thanks for coming on.
Terrific.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks for the invite.
See you, mate. No worries. Oh, fellas, that was good to have those two on. We've got a couple more lined up, ready to go. I'm going to get them straight on. We're going to pull on Shaun Smith next, and let's hear what he has to say about his time so far at the Down Under Winter Classic. Hey, Shaun, how you going, mate?
Hey, boys, how you going?
Hey, mate.
Hey, Smithy.
Big shoes to fill after those two. Tell you,
Absolutely.
It's a tough ask to come on after those two guys. Give you their wealth of knowledge. So hopefully I can give a little bit too.
All right. I'm having a few issues with internet here. I don't know if it's everyone else breaking up or me, but can you blokes hear me all right still?
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Yeah. We'll carry on. So what team are you coaching this year, mate?
I've gone to the Sea Dogs this year. So I did the Beach Bums 18s last year and do the Sea Dogs 18s this year. It's so it's pretty good, enjoying the ride, and it's just such a great experience to be up here with these kids and giving them opportunities and getting to play some great baseball. And we've had some ripper games so far, so it's been really good.
Awesome. And how's your team going so far in the tournament, mate? Wins wise?
Yeah, so we've had 2 wins and a draw. First game was a ripper too, against one of the New Zealand teams, and kind of got ahead, just sort of stayed there. The second game was a walk-off against the Rockhounds with Ox. It was a fantastic game of baseball, and sort of got the biscuits at the end. And then against the other New Zealand team was another ripper. It was a great game, and they had a good lead on us, so we sort of got it back, and then tied up in the bottom of the 6th, went to the 7th, and neither team scored. So it's been really good baseball so far. And the great thing about this tournament is you've got such a spectrum of talent, and you've got such a spectrum of who you're playing and the guys you're playing against, and it's just great to see the growth of the kids as you and the excitement they get when they have those games that are walk-offs and it's pretty close, and they're just learning the whole time. So it's really good to watch.
Speaking on that, how much development and improvement do you see in those guys, especially 18s, I guess? I know for me, I'm only exposed to the 12s, and I notice from game 1 to game 2, 3, 4 after 2 days, the amount of improvement they have. For the 18s, is there that same sort of improvement and development with the game for them?
Oh, look, I don't think it's the exponential growth you get in those younger age groups. That they tend to grow a lot quicker. I think the 18s are already kind of at that level where they're not growing in their physical tools. They're kind of already there. I guess what you get with the 18s is the ability to teach the game a little bit more. So, we had some scenarios with some just simple, even pop-up priorities, that we had the other day in our team where guys just didn't know their responsibilities. And I guess, that at age you sort of expect that they know that sort of stuff, but you kind of find that they don't. And so we have kind of talked through that, or some, so just little things about the game that you're able to really kind of hone in a little bit. So it's more about the game and teaching the game in the 18s as opposed to necessarily the skills. We're only here for a really short time, so it's hard to make any adjustments with kids here, and kind of, you can see some stuff you kind of go, I could work with that, but over a week long, it's not really worth it. We just want to get out and let them play and enjoy the experience and kind of do whatever we can to help develop their knowledge of the game, I suppose, at 18s level, and hope they can get something out of it and go away with learning, something new every day. If we can teach them something new every day, I think we've done our job. But we're just, I think they're here for the ride. They're really enjoying it, and it just gives them exposure to better kids. We're seeing some really talented kids in the 18s, especially as in that New Zealand team. We faced 3 pretty high quality pitchers the other day, so some of our kids may have never experienced that. Some of the kids have, but there's some kids here who may never have played at a rep level before, or have never had that exposure to that sort of pitching or that sort of environment. So I think it's great for those kids. That's the one thing I love about this tournament, is giving lots of kids opportunities to play at the best level they can.
Yeah. And I guess that even at the under 18 level, they're going to get lots of different positions, and you've only got a small roster again. So it's all about getting as much game time for each kid as you can. And so a lot of these guys play in different positions than what they sometimes usually would.
Oh, look, 100%. We threw some kids in the deep end the other day. Like I literally met the team pretty much day one. Said, all right, boy, guys, where do you play? And they're all kind of like, oh yeah, I'm a first baseman, I'm an outfielder. I literally had no pivots, I had 3 pitches. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be tough on a 7-game tournament sort of thing that we're going to play. How are we going to get through this? So, but so you just throw some guys in the deep end. You kind of go. We had a catcher who caught game 1, and he was on the bench in game 2, I think it was, or game 3, whichever one it was. And I'm like, man, you're on the pad. He kind of looked at me like, me? Like, yeah, you're up, go. And he came out and he threw great, So those kids get those exposure. That's what I really like about this year. Just throw some kids in the deep end and see what they do. We made a few kids turn into a shortstops, and we had another kid go, oh, yeah, I'm a shortstop. They made a couple of errors, so Jaden told him he's not going to see shortstop again. But it's that sort of thing that gives kids exposure, gives them a chance to play, and I guess gets them to see what they can do and what they can't. So. There's going to be plenty of guys this week who are going to pitch for the first time, or put themselves in that opportunity, and you never know, it might be something that comes out of that they go, oh, I actually do that pretty good. Maybe that's a pathway I can go.
Yeah. Hey, what are some of the ways that I guess the message you could send as kids about promoting it into our local communities, like back at Newcastle and Central Coast, or wherever you play? What are some of the ways that maybe the kids could help promote it?
Look, I think it's word of mouth. I think the more the kids come here and the more they see what a great product it is, and obviously the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, but just the baseball, the camaraderie ship, and the spirit. One of the things I love about this tournament is just the end of the game where all the players get together and the coaches kind of talk through the game and give credit to the other kids and sort of say, also you see the kids smile when you say, hey, I love the shortstop. I love that throw you made from left field today where you threw our guy at the plate. And it's kind of like, oh, hang on, he's acknowledging something I did really good against his team, where we tend to focus so much on our own teams normally, whereas that's one of the things I really love about the traditions we've set for this tournament. I think the more people talk about it, the more people get involved, I guess, and Hunt and Central Coast tends to have a very closed, insular kind of thought process on how things work in terms of baseball, and they kind of think, oh, it's about Central Coast or about Newcastle or whatever, but it's not. It's about baseball and developing baseballers. So I think the kids come away here, have a great time, they go home and tell their friends. Next year you get a few more, and I think hopefully that way it grows. But like you guys did the Summer Sizzler up at Newcastle, that was an amazing event too, and the kids who jumped on that. We've got the Mafia going on, so Cav and his team have done a really good job of promoting baseball in terms of giving plenty of opportunities for kids to come out and play, and they can choose which way they go, which pathway they want to take, and whether they want to do one of those things or all of those things. But realistically, probably in the last year, I've seen our kids get 60 or 70 more at bats than they would have in the past, so that can only help them get better. So anyone who's out there on the Central Coast of Newcastle, if they want to get better, my advice is jump on board with one of the events and see if you like it. See, get your feet wet a little bit, and I think once you get involved, and you guys have all jumped on now, you've seen how good it is. I think once you're involved and you see how great it is, I think we get more guys. But our kids have to play. I heard Howie talking about that American trip, and I was lucky enough to take the 14s trip over there, and we were playing kids who have had, we one of the teams we played, one of the kids that had kind of 800 at bats in a year. They played for 6 months or whatever, but they were already up to extra at bats. They play 4 or 5 times a week. They just get more at bats. So we were playing them, and pound for pound as far as talent goes, we were equal with most of the teams, but they're just more experienced. They do the simple things right more often. They take better swings and stuff just because they see more pitching and they're better at that. So I think I think we got a really good lesson over there, and that's part of the reason Cav sort of developed the Mafia and stuff like that, because we got a really good eye opener to where our kids were, and we just don't play enough, and I think that's why it's great. Our pitchers need to throw more, but our hitters definitely need to swing more, and so I definitely would encourage anybody out there, if you want to get better at the game, jump on board with Osborne and get after it, because it's really, really, really great.
And that goes to not only the players, mate, but also coaches and umpires. The umpires are getting plenty of games in during the week as well, and also if you're a coach that wants to sort of reach out, please do so. It's great to have as many of those as we can.
100%. And the great thing about we've got so many guys who have coached at a high level or who have played at a high level, who are willing to jump in, like Campbell. We talked about tonight. Campbell is a guy who's played at a good level now, but wants to give back. So he's jumped on to coaching. We've got all these guys out there who have got kids involved, like Stuart Hanrahan from Manly. He's been around for a long time, but now he's given back as well, because it's his boys involved, but he's also given back to a lot of other boys by being involved. So we've got a bunch of those sort of coaches go around, but it's also good because you learn off everybody. Mitch Little's now involved in doing the 10s. I think it's an interesting challenge for him, but I know, like he said, he loves it because he's watching their growth, and having guys like him who's he's the first grade coach for MacArthur, head coach, but now he's down doing the 10s. But we grow off each other. We have a chance to talk to the coaches. We have a chance to learn from each other, and I think one of the good things that I love is that we can all just have those baseball conversations and keep developing our skills and moving forward. Because as you know, if you stick back in the old days of coaching, you're going to get taken over. So it's about learning as we go and trying to see how we can make ourselves better as coaches, but ultimately make our kids better as well. Yeah,
for sure. All right, mate.
The one thing that I did hear how he mentioned about the college stuff, and the one thing that I didn't know till a couple of years ago is you got to know prior to year 12 about college. So I used to think, finish year 12 and start looking, and that was what I used to tell the kids. But then over the last few years, we've learned a lot now that pretty much in year 10 you need to start thinking about, if you want to go to college, you need to be informed and start to formulate your ideas about where you might want to go or what subjects you have to choose, because there's a big thing on what subjects you do and what subjects you need to do. And also, so Andrew Riddell did a really good one at our schoolboys this year, and Pete does an amazing job with it too. So when you said should anyone go, I think anyone who has any kind of thought process about potentially go to college should be there, at least so they can start to listen and get some ideas on what they need to do moving forward.
Awesome, mate. That's a good one out there for the kids to learn. Hey, did you get a phone call from Josh Dean by any chance?
Yeah, I just did. I think he's spamming everybody. He's just he's on a mission. And I should have called it. I should have just answered and see what he wanted. But he's is he one of your guests coming up or what?
No, he's not. But Josh, if you're still listening, mate, we're about to get Ox on. So if you want to give him a call, maybe give it about 5 minutes.
I think Josh is just jealous that you're getting all the good coaches on talking. He's not one of them, so maybe that's what it might be.
He can come on Thursday night. We're going to go again on Thursday night. So
he loves a chat. So I'm sure he'll say some good things too.
Going to have a chat with a few different coaches over the next couple of days, and we might even get some players on. So
I think it'd be great.
I know.
I think the players are probably our best advertisement really for this tournament. Like, we can say how good it is, and you guys have been here now and you've witnessed it, and you've got to take lots of photos, and got to be part of, with your child ready to play and stuff like that. So you're a parent as well as a baseball lover. But anyone who's here can see how great it is. But we can talk and say it's good. But I think the parents and the players are the one that really are going to be the ones that kind of drive this, because they're the ones that are going to go back and say how great it is, and the kids will tell their friends. And so I think if you have some parents on here and some kids on here, hopefully saying good things about it, I think that's the way we'll grow it, because it's a great concept, and I think it's something that's definitely worth doing for anyone who loves the game.
Yep,
for sure, mate. Appreciate your time, mate. We're going to let you go now, and good luck for the rest of the tournament, fellas. Unless you've got anything else for Shaun before he goes.
No, mate.
That's a wrap.
It was all good.
Thanks,
No
guys. Really
worries.
appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
The rest of it. Thanks, boys.
No
Talk
worries,
ya.
mate. Catch you later.
Cheers, mate.
All right, fellas. We've got one more guest tonight before we get on with our dribble for the rest of the week. I'm going to bring Chris Oxspring on next. I'm just bumping him in here now. Ox, how are you, mate?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Great, thanks, mate. What team are you coaching this weekend, or this week? Sorry.
I've got the under-18 Rockhounds, mate.
Yeah. Under-18 Rockhounds. How are you guys going?
So far, we're 2-1. Had a pretty good week so far, other than a little bit of sickness. One of our blokes has pulled up with the flu or something, just feeling under the weather at the moment. But other than that, we're travelling okay.
How many you got in your squad, mate?
With the young bloke that's sick, we got 12. Without him, we got 11. So a touch thin, but yeah, no, we're doing all right, mate. We're filling in gaps, like the other guys have talked about. We're putting guys under the pump and throwing them in places they haven't played before, and stuff like that. So they're making the adjustment, and it's been really good so far. No complaints from me.
Love it, mate. I guess someone of your caliber in this coaching role, mate, it's great for us to see as, parents of young kids that play different sports, to have that level of coaching. I guess for us is there's lots of coaches out there and lots of high-level coaches at this tournament. Why is it so important for you to come to one of these tournaments and coach at the Ausball Down Under Classic?
I guess for me, to put it really simply, there's nothing more rewarding than taking something that you spent a lifetime doing and being able to give a small facet of that to somebody to then make them better. You watch, you might be able to teach a kid to do something on the bases, on the mound, in the box, in the field, give them that information, and then watch them put it into play, and then that result play out in their head, and that switch turn on, and the excitement that they get from just a small piece of information that you've passed on to them, and they then understand and take that into the game with them. So that's always been my biggest passion when it comes to teaching young blokes, whether it was as a veteran player or as a coach.
One of the best things I've seen this tournament so far was, I think it was day one over in the under 10s, and they were learning to pick off, get leads, and the amount of knowledge that was on that diamond with probably 40 kids or 50 kids was amazing. That's been my highlight watching, or from sitting back watching, is seeing that. That was unreal. Yeah,
mate. To be really truthful with you guys, I kind of steer away from the young kids because I have the patience of a stingray when it comes to dealing with children of a certain age and aspect. But I walked away supremely impressed with their ability to switch on. We asked them to turn their ears on and turn their mouth off, and they did it exponentially well. And we went, through 4 groups of about 7-8 minutes apiece, and collectively across the board, they went from not being able to, look in for a sign to come set to stepping off to throw to first base when they got there, and 6-7 minutes later, all of a sudden, they knew exactly what they were required to do and the reason why they were required to do it, and picked it up amazingly and walked away all saying thank you, which just blew me away.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Awesome.
What about mate? Inclusion's a big part of the Down Under Winter Classic. I guess for your perspective, mate, what's the thing as a coach that you're doing to make sure that everybody gets a run?
Make everybody feel equal. All right, we all put the same uniform on, right? We all step in the same dugout. You may wear a different hat, like I get to wear a manager's hat this week. Other guys wear a coach's hat, and these guys all wear player's hat. But when we're all in there together, we're all doing the same thing. So everybody gets treated equally. Nobody's bigger, better, or above anybody else. Doesn't matter the background you come from, the experience you have. Everybody gets treated the same way, and they hold each other in respect the same way that they would expect to get treated back. So, that's been the biggest thing about it, is you treat each other the same across the board.
I love it. Hey, we watched a fair bit of the Drop Bears when they went to Savannah. And
how do I know this was going to come up?
My favourite thing about that was definitely the Vegemite in the booth. Mate, I can't remember which one it was, but he absolutely caked on that Vegemite, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, that was Biko.
Did it by the spoonful.
Yeah.
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
He put it on there thicker than peanut butter, mate. And to his credit, though, he sucked it up and he ate that whole piece of toast and got through it all. But that was certainly impressive for a first time experience in that.
And how did you rate that experience, mate? It was really awesome to watch. They did a great job of promoting sort of what they did, and we've been watching the Savannah Bananas for a little while, but seeing the Aussie Drop Bears over there was pretty phenomenal. How was the experience for yourself?
Personally, mate, I've been telling people for a really long time that my whole professional career has been getting paid to play a kid's sport as an adult. For the first time in my career, I actually got to act like a kid and play the sport I got to get paid for a really long time. So it's probably the most amount of fun I've had on a baseball field since I was probably 8 to 10 years old. To watch the athletes out there from both teams, ours and theirs, participate and do what they did and play the game with such enthusiasm and love. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. No, it was indeed. It was great to watch, mate. And the way they're promoting baseball over there, getting, mums and kids and all sorts of things, to the games, and promoting with different, I guess, ways in between innings, and the baby races and the grandma race and all sorts of things. It was good fun to see. All right, mate. We wish you all the luck for the rest of the tournament. I guess before you go, just one more thing. For those kids that are looking to sort of represent Australia and beyond, have you got a little piece of advice that you might want to give for not only tournament baseball, but for baseball in general?
Yeah, I probably do. Might be a little bit long-winded, but, there's going to be plenty of people out there that tell you can't do something, right? So take that as a challenge personally to make yourself better. Go and look for information anywhere you can find it, be it on the internet, be it in a book. Go and talk to a coach. Go and talk to an opposing coach. Go and talk to a critic and ask them why they're saying you can't do something. Because at the end of the day, you never know who you're going to be when you're 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 24. Nobody can look into a crystal ball and see the outcome for you. You really have a driving force on where you're going. And in today's day and age, as we know, like, it doesn't take much for somebody to see your ability and give you an opportunity to progress and go somewhere else. You know, like Howe and Campbell and Smitty all touched about the college path and the opportunities that are created there in relation to, you know, whether it be an NAIA school, NCAA, JUCO, D1, it doesn't matter. The world is so small now with the internet. If you do good things, people will notice, and it's going to be way more obvious than it has ever been.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Appreciate your time, Ox. Good luck for the rest of the tournament, mate. We'll get you out of here tonight. A couple of big games coming up for your team, mate. We wish you all the best.
Appreciate it, fellas. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, mate.
Take it easy.
Pleasure.
All right, fellas. That rounds out our coaches' talks for tonight. Appreciate all those that come on, and for all those that are new to the show that are listening in, appreciate you coming along to listen. We're going to run through the rest of our show as per usual. We'll have the tidbits coming up in a second, and then we'll go on and run through some sports during the week. Davo, I think you might be up first with tidbits, or is it Randall? I can't remember. Who's this one?
That looks like me, mate. So as we all know, guys, Bobby B Day has just been and gone. He got his annual 1.1 mil. Best contract ever. But it's just jumped out to me, being an Orioles fan, as everyone that follows the show knows. Bobby B, 1st of July salary, 1.1 million. Adley Rutschman just become an all-star. 2023 salary, 1 mil. Number one overall prospect a few years back. All that sort of stuff come through. Had a good chance at Rookie of the Year last year, and he's still getting paid less than Bobby B. What a legend.
Let's talk about your Orioles while we're talking, Randall. We may have had a few stops at Surfers Paradise today, a few different let's say places, and
Establishments.
And the Orioles versus the Yankees, mate. We watched them back at your hotel, and they lost 6-3. They still lost 6-3 again at another place that we went to, and then at Surfers Paradise Beer Garden, they lost again 6-3. Mate,
I think they lost
how
twice.
tough was that to watch?
I think we watched the game four or five times today. Seriously, no one likes the Yankees anyway. Why keep replaying them winning? I suppose they don't win much this year, so might as well give them something.
Fair enough. Tidbit too. They had a win.
Yeah, this was rubbing a bit of salt into the wound. You know, Davo, not sure if you caught the Knights Bulldogs game on the weekend. Knights won 66-0. It was their highest winning margin in their career, in their existence. So it's pretty good to see. And Kalen Ponga, he hasn't been able to kick a goal for the last few years. They sacked him as the goal kicker. He came out and went 11 for 11 goal kicking and tied the great Andrew Johns in most goals in a game. So sorry, Davo, to bring that one up. I know you probably don't want to hear
14th
it.
15th, mate, but at least we didn't give up the most points on the weekend. So
No,
which team gave up the most points on the weekend, Hutto?
Sorry, Matt, I was just muted you in my ears as well. I think it was the Tigers, mate. 76. I think they might have got beat by.
No, 74, mate. We'll give you credit. It was only 74. So
74.
At least the Bulldogs weren't the biggest losers the weekend, but mate, is what is. They're atrocious.
Putrid. You're up next, Davo.
Yeah, so interesting stat that just came up. So a comparison. So home runs in the last 300 at bats. Tim Anderson, 0. Zach Greinke, 5. So power numbers are down for Mr. Anderson at the moment, and that's considering Greinke probably hasn't picked up a bat for a while. So
Yeah.
it's not good for the White Sox there.
Now that's a crazy one, isn't it?
And second one, Dylan Cruz. He reached base in every single game of this college season. So he ended his college career with a 75-game on-base streak. So historic college player, they're saying, and all looking good for being number one draft pick in a couple of weeks. But to get on base for 75 games in a row, it's a fair effort.
Sure
Yeah,
is.
that's a massive stat. It's insane to think 75-game streak like that, mate. I got a couple for you. This one, what MLB was like last time there was a perfect game thrown. We'll talk about the perfect game soon. The Astros were still in the NL. Bryce Harper and Mike Trout won Rookie of the Year. Dickey won the Cy Young. Chipper Jones was in his final MLB season, and Big Miggy Cabrera won the AL Triple Crown. There you go. One of my tidbits. And the second tidbit I've got, Shohei Ohtani became the first player to reach base 4 times, hit 2 home runs, and strike out 10-plus batters in the same game since Jack Stevets in 1890. Do you remember that uniform, Davo?
He wore it.
Yeah, mate. Wore it, still wearing it. He's a freak, isn't he?
Yeah.
We got a few more things coming up with Shoei later on in the slides that I've got for later. He's just a freak.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep writing different records each year because there'll be so many that have come up.
Well, they're now saying $550 million over 11 years. It's too low. Like that figure is too low with what he's doing this year.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to argue, isn't it? So what's he had? Has he had 3 years in a row now with 30-plus home runs? Is it 3?
Yeah.
Or just
I'll find his. I had a tidbit of him.
yeah, right.
Not a tidbit, a slide, but it might be this one. No, it's not that one. But anyway, Ohtani selected as a 2-way All-Star for the 3rd year straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a freak. Absolute freak. All right, we're going to move on. We'll do a few bits and pieces, and then we'll talk about some cricket and get you blokes out of here. One of you sent me this today. I think it was you, Davo, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So we mentioned him last week, Acuna, or like records being broken, and only player in history at the All-Star break with 20-plus home runs, 40-plus stolen bases, and 50-plus RBIs. So I think he got his 40th stolen base today. So he's already halfway there for a 40-40 season.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well on his way. And
Pretty
are
much
the Braves having a good run?
Oh,
They got the best
they're
record
right.
in baseball now.
What were they? What are they?
Killing it.
I think they're 30 games ahead of 500 today after their win. So
Yeah, they're 57 and 27, 679. They're 9 games ahead of Miami, and they're on a 9-1 over the last 10 games. So
yeah, I think Campbell's loving it. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he brought that up today.
Setting up an MVP season.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Marlins are 9 games back, and they're having a great year. So, but yeah, I thought I had the power rankings up next. Sorry, fellas. Here it is, the power rankings. Atlanta Braves are just killing it. Tampa Bay is still up there. The Rays are still up there. Sorry. Rangers, Diamondbacks, Orioles, Dodgers, Marlins, Giants get a mention when they're going down at the moment. Astros and the Yankees. We talked about this last week. How are the Yankees still in there? But, that's right. They beat the Orioles today. So, mate, how are your Boston Red Sox going, Davo? I haven't seen much of them.
Mate, we're above 500.
Yeah,
we're in the cellar, but we're above 500, so still doing better than every AL Central team.
Yeah, you got Texas next, I think, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we took a
Tough
couple
game.
on Toronto, so had a bit of pleasure stirring Dylan Lees about that on the weekend. So if there's one team we can beat, at least it's in our own division.
Yep. Hopefully they get a couple of wins and move forward. During the week we had a game that was absolutely perfect. For those that aren't interested in baseball, you're probably not listening because the whole show's been about baseball. But we're talking to somebody during the week and they were talking about a perfect game. And what makes it so perfect? Well, what an absolute gem of a game. Old Haman coming up. He come off two
Atrocious
back-to-back.
starts.
Yeah, atrocious starts. And the start before that, he got done for sticky stuff on his hands. So
Yeah,
it's
he had a suspension.
Yeah, had a 14-game suspension, and then come on and through this perfect game. Now, did you blokes catch the end of it, or did you see much of the game?
I just saw highlights. That was it for me. I'd make a point to not watch the Yankees play unless they're playing the Orioles.
Fair enough. We've seen enough Yankees today, mate. They
Well,
won a few
he
times today.
actually threw today, so
He did.
didn't get through 5, I don't think.
Yeah. So
Or, sorry, maybe not.
Shows how
6.
rare and like how rare a perfect game is. Guys can go out, just suck, and all of a sudden that's their day that year. So that's what you love about the game, is that on any given day, someone can just step up and bang, that can happen.
Yeah, I think today he gave up 3 runs on 9 hits or something through 5 and a third or something innings. So you're right, it does. He had an absolute gem during the week. He was on, and when that happens, you just got to step back and appreciate it, and tip your cap, don't you?
And they were talking about, after the game, they interviewed him and said what was different and things like that, and nothing's different. Felt the same. He had a bit of a family loss a couple of weeks ago and sort of said, that's for you, and then moved on. But only 24 perfect games in the history of baseball. 4 from the Yankees, and every time the Yankees have thrown a perfect game in that year, they've won the World Series. So I don't think that'll happen this year.
Nah.
Just shows how rare it is that you count how many games of baseball there's been forever, and only 24 have been perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. And Davo, you missed out on a perfect game by a day, mate.
Yeah, so we went to the States in '99 and went to Yankee Stadium, and we're supposed to be there for the Saturday afternoon game, but unfortunately flights were delayed, things happened. We got into New York Saturday night and heard about it on the news. We're at Yankee Stadium the following day, which was still buzzing from it, but yeah, unfortunately missed Coney's perfect game by 1 day. And we had great seats because the guy who ran the tour, he used to buy and sell horses with Steinbrenner. So we're actually in Steinbrenner's seats beside the dugout. So we're just kicking ourselves, imagining what it would have been like being in those seats for a perfect game. So
would have been insane just being there in those seats anyway, mate. But yeah, the perfect game would have been next level.
Oh, it was. I think I missed half of the first game. I was just taking it all in where we were, even though it was the Yankees, but still the history of the old Yankee Stadium. You could not just sort of take it all in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think everyone would be the same, mate.
Yeah,
myself included.
Another big milestone during the week. Nathan Lyon, 100 straight tests. So test play between 1st of the 8th, 13, and the 28th of June, 23. 100 tests, and Nathan Lyon did 100 of those. So became the first. Yeah, exactly. Just an absolute legend. And now he's out.
Won't be
What did he do?
101.
What did he do? His calf.
His calf out in the boundary, running in, but he strained it, didn't tear it, but he strained it, but still went out there, showed some guts to bat in the first or the second inning, just to get Australia some more runs. But 100 games straight for anyone just says how good you are, because the strength of the Australian team, if you're not performing, you're not going to be there. So it's not like you can carry someone. So it's just an awesome feat for him. And unfortunately, won't see 101.
Yeah. No, 100 out. Not out.
It'd be interesting.
Let's continue on.
It'd be interesting to see how many other players have that same sort of number, or what that biggest number is. Like, you'd have to think there's some other players that are going to be up there as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You think
maybe
so?
back in the day? I'm not sure so much these days with the way they rest players and rotations and
Bowlers
everything.
get a rest.
Yeah, you think someone like a MS Dhoni or someone like that, or Kumar Sangakkara, or some one of those
Kohli.
sort of guys. Cole, yeah, I guess injury probably is the only thing for any of those guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Massive achievement. We'll continue on with the cricket. The Ashes. We're up 2-0. The old Iceland cricket given a bit of a sledge. I didn't even know they played Iceland in Iceland. But anyway, Wimbledon has begun. It wasn't held here, but yeah, a good little sledge there. Someone needs to tell Lord's ground staff that Wimbledon begins on Monday, not tomorrow. That was obviously the night before, the first day of the second test. A little bit of a green wicket there. Didn't play too bad though, fellas.
Yeah, it was green. Obviously, that's why we were sending to bat. But yeah, it didn't play like a traditional green top, did it, Davo?
No.
Hope Davo's not there.
Davo's frozen, is he?
Looks
Handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's back.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, mate. Missed you. You sort of froze up a bit.
No, internet's playing up on the coast here. The pitch didn't play up as much as they thought.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
It was quite tame, really, for how green it was.
Yeah, for sure.
What about this sledge?
It's spot on. It is spot on. Old Ryan Harris, eh?
Yep.
Still coming in with the heaters well into retirement. Buzz Rothfield's put a tweet up saying that's a shocking way to take a wicket. They should have called him back. And in regards to Johnny Bairstow's run out, stumping, whatever you want to call it, stumping, I believe. And Ryan Harris has come back at him with a there he is there. Oh, Johnny keep walking, Bairstow. Yeah, you struggle with rugby league. Best you leave cricket alone. Go to bed. He's spot on. Poor old Buzz Rothfield. 947 in the shade. And he struggles at the best of times with rugby league, and he's a rugby league bloody nufty. But yeah, anyway. Classic.
I know. They're whinging. The Poms are whinging and whining about so many people are, but it's within the rules. And someone was saying, is it within the spirit of the game? But I'm sorry, if it's within the rules of the game, therefore it's within the spirit of the game. So many people have done it, and Ravi Ashwin came out and said, when a keeper's that far back, he just doesn't have a shot at the stumps for no reason. Carey had planned that. He'd seen what Bairstow was doing. So he knew he was a chance, and he took it. And Michael Vaughan, Atherton, a lot of the Pommies have now come out and said, Strauss have come out and said, yep, well done. They're bagging the Australians out for doing it, but the Poms lost that more so themselves. First innings, they're 1 for 188. They get bowled out for 316. Second innings, they're bowlers. It was boring because all they wanted to do was rely on the short ball. And besides Stokes scoring the runs he did, the batsman did nothing. So yeah, you can whinge and whine about the run out, the stumping, but Australia have been a better team from the first 2 tests.
Yeah, they have been.
100% agree, and it's amazing, isn't it? Like, I haven't even really heard anything from the English team either. You know, like when it happened, they were pretty upset about it, but in general, they're not really saying too much about it, are they? Like they're
Broad's a peanut. He says what he does, but he's always been like that. So, but yeah, you're right. The rest of the team has come out, not said anything. Like McCullum's saying, "Oh, I don't know if we'll go for beers now," but he's got a short memory. He did it the other year. He's done it before, so I think the players realise should have stayed in his crease.
McCullum's was a lot worse than that as well. You know, he ran out a bloke who was going down to celebrate a teammate's. I think it was it was Sangakkara, I think.
Yeah,
had scored 100, and Murali went down to celebrate with him, you know, and give him the hug and the high five and all that sort of stuff for his century, and he ran him out. Like, tell me, how's that, you know, any less in the spirit of the game? Like,
and
you know what
tried
I mean?
the same thing 2 days earlier.
Yeah,
Bairstow tried to do it to Labuschagne 2 days earlier. And you could see the umpire hadn't even started moving. And as soon as Carey caught the ball, he'd thrown it in. It's not like he'd sort of caught the ball, took about 3 or 4 steps in, then decided to throw it. But it sets up for a good third test at Headingley on tomorrow night.
For sure.
Well, it does, mate. You know, there's a lot of things. Stuart Broad should be pretty careful with what he says too. You know, we all remember, you know, that edge straight to first slip too, don't we? You know, absolutely hit the cover off it straight to first slip, and then just walked down the pitch, had a chat with his partner, and as if nothing had happened. You know, and they want to talk about spirit of the game. Well, you know, you hit the ball. They appealed. You should, you know, should you walk? Shouldn't you walk? What's in the spirit of the game? And he said, "No, I'm not between." I'm not going to walk unless I'm not going to walk. If the umpire gives me out, then I'm out. If I'm not, then I'm not.
Yeah.
So,
but there's a difference between walking when you've sort of given an edge to the keeper, but that went to first slip, and his first slip taking the bloody splinters out of the ball. He got that much bat on it.
Yep.
But bring on the third test.
Yeah, it'll be a classic, that's for sure. All right, what else have I got for you blokes on the slides? This one. Randall, you're a bloke. Not only has he been playing baseball up here, mate, he's been getting a little bit of an education on other things other than baseball. How to cook a barbecue.
Yeah, mate, it was a big day for him. I think it was day 1, 2 games. So, you know, we obviously did it tough, so we decided that's it. Mate, you can cook the barbecue while we just have a few cans. So he was there cooking the snakes. Can't even talk here. The steaks and the snags for the rest of us. So yeah, good work, mate.
Might have been a few errors and a few Ks, and that was the result of Kangaroo Court. He got done.
He's had a good start actually to the tournament. Got to pitch a bit.
You know, rolled the arm over. Had one good inning, one not so. But anyway, it's just lucky that 6 runs across the plate in his age group, and you get a rest. So yeah, his second innings didn't go to plan. You got 3 up, 3 down in the first, and then struggled a bit in the next. So
they're having a good tournament. Excuse me. They're you know, you've only got 10 kids. How many kids have you got, Randall?
No, he's
got 12.
He's got 12. There's 12 in his team, so it's good. They're all getting a good run, and mate, they're all loving it. And what we sort of touched on before, at that age group, it's noticeable development with those sort of kids. 2 games in, 3 games in, 4 games in, and they're a completely different bunch of kids to what they were first game day 1. It's awesome to see that development improvement of just being able to play and, you know, just getting that game awareness. You guys all know what it's like. You can train the house down. Nothing ever compares to playing the game.
Yep.
So it's just awesome to see all the kids. Yeah, kids are all loving it. Couple of bombs from the kids. I think there was a Grand Slam yesterday. Just watching the kids trot around the bases and all with their different little thing that they want to do at home plate. One kid come home and big slide into home plate. Just it's great. It's great to watch them all, and it's just
You're sitting
played in
there
such
going,
good
wonder
spirit.
what that feels like.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, that's not a strike. That's not a pop up to second base.
Hey, Dave, how do you go on the weekend, mate?
2 for 3. So 5 innings on the hill. Too many pitches again. I was at 90, I think, when they bought us off. So, but got the W.
That's all that matters. Got back on track, mate. I might have to not turn up every week by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I think going against a veteran team again, like because they'd seen me the week before, they sort of, as you know, I can't stand rear back and just say, there you go, hit it. I'm throwing everything under the sun, putting snot on the ball and everything. And
You put
just
snot on the ball.
after a few innings, just wasn't fooling anyone. So it was just sort of damage control and got through 5 and hand over to Evan and said, there you go, shut it out.
And she threw well, you said.
Yeah, no, she threw a lot better. It would have helped out if our third baseman, not even sure if Ninja's on the podcast tonight. We had a runner at 2. There was 1 out. So he's at third base. So the guy at second tries to steal third. Batter pops it up. Pretty simple pop-up. Straight underneath it. He's already making the throw back to second before he's caught the ball. Next thing you know, clank, boom. Runners at first and third and only 1 out instead of game-ending double play. So, Ninja's on
there. He is. Well done. Well done, mate.
Would have made
Glad
for an
to see
interesting car trip home. But we got out of there. So, got the win.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Mate, Ninja, doesn't matter, mate. Got the win. Doesn't matter.
It's better than those Cardinals anyway.
Hey, fellas, Ninja was telling me that someone has been doing a bit of gardening actually around the back of the batting cages there at Waterboard. And I actually think it might be Randall before he went away. I'm not sure. But they sent me this picture in. Hey, Randall, you got to put some gear on when you're over at the baseball field, mate. It's,
no one told me. I didn't realize there was going to be young kids running around and whatnot. I thought the ground was closed for the weekend.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Well, Ninja reckons that you need to throw some more, so he was helping her out. Well, it's a good dad. It's a good dad. Right, fellas, do you want to run through NRL for the week? I know Tigers got smashed, Bulldogs got smashed. What else is there to talk about?
Nothing.
State of Origin 3. Is that next week? Next Wednesday?
12.
State of Origin's coming up, yeah.
What about
few interesting
team?
Yeah, a few new inclusions, isn't there, into that team?
Yeah, what
have
do you
you
make,
seen
7
much of it,
changes?
Something like that.
Yeah,
changes need to be made, but he's kept Tedesco. It's like, well, you're down 2-0. If you're looking for future, he hasn't had a great series. Now's the time to really do it.
Yeah.
Why not set up for next year? Blood in the youth now. It's a home game, so it's not like you're sort of throwing him into Lang Park or anything. Got nothing to lose. Series has already lost.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. I feel like that might be why he's made some of the changes he's made. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about some of them, Davo? Like Bradman Best into the team. He hasn't been a superstar this year. Like
he had one good game. He got a hat trick against the Bulldogs where you scored 66. It's not really a great sort of build up. It's more like who didn't get a hat trick from that game.
Well, that's sort of right. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a hard one, eh? Like I'm just, as a Knights fan, a season pass holder, I go to a lot of their games, but he hasn't been a standout for the last couple of years. Like he threatened a few years ago when he first moved into first grade and then had a few injuries that held him back. And then, he's been solid enough. He's suspect in defence. Obviously, attacking wise, yeah, great. Like, great runner of the ball. He's a big unit, but yeah, I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. He played all his junior New South Wales footy and stuff like that. So maybe they are just looking to develop for the future.
But if they're doing that, why bring in Cody Walker and still keep Nico out? Like, he's your reigning Daily M Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Fittler says he's going to be there all 3 games. Like, doesn't play the best in the first game, but didn't get a lot of game time. Now he's dropped from the rest. So, yeah, that one surprised me a bit that he didn't get a start.
Fittler's
for sure.
Got to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Time for a complete reboot.
I think he's done, personally. But
Moses didn't do much for game 2. So if you're looking for the future, Nico's, as you say, throw him in at halfback. Like, Moses has had his chance. He hasn't done much before, and it showed game 2 he really didn't do much. So, yeah.
What about Gutho? He's been picked as in the 18 or something like that. What do you go on that sort of pick as well?
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of him play this year to see if he's been in good enough form for it. But are they going just by name, or like just trying to think who's played better to warrant a spot? No one's really stood out this year.
Yeah, that's right. And then you also throw in there, who else do we have? Jacob Safidi from the Knights as well. He hasn't really been a standout player for Newcastle. So I don't know on that either. Are they just picking because he's played previous years, or what? Surely there's some informed players, or are they trying to go back to finding some of these other guys that have been there and done it previously? So I don't know.
Home game. As I say, it's a home game, so you don't necessarily need to go back to guys that have been there. It's going to be a home crowd, so it's great atmosphere. It's not like you're going to be Lang Park, like the Cauldron up there. Time will tell.
Yeah. So what do you reckon? Like, obviously Hudson Young was in the side for the first 2 games. He hadn't played Origin before. He's been cut. Did they really give him enough chance?
No,
or
he wasn't the worst.
No,
he was solid and did what was asked of him.
Yep. Junior Paulo, he only got last Origin 2 was the only game he played, and he's been cut. And then Tyson Frizzell has also, got his way back into the Origin picture. He has been one of the Knights' best players this year.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he did anything wrong in Origin 1 or 2 either.
No.
And he's been cut as well. So I don't understand. Are we just we've lost the series? We're just going to play and do whatever. We'll just blood some people or just give some guys a crack.
But it wasn't really in the forwards we lost the game. I don't think. I think our forwards held up their end of it. Losing Tommy Turbo hurts, but then Fittler making the stupid move of putting Cook out there.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the second Origin team. I didn't like that team anyway.
No.
But I don't think it was the right team. There were a few people in that side that I scratched my head at.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens next week.
That's it.
Good luck. Yeah, that'll do us for this week, fellas. Good luck to those Blues in game 3. They're going to need it. Yeah, it's horrible. Sorry, fellas, having a bit of a coughing spray. All right, no worries. Well, I think we'll be back live on Thursday night, Randall, doing a couple of little interviews with some of the people up here at the Down Under Winter Classic. Thanks again, fellas, for jumping on. We'll be back next Tuesday. I can't remember who the guest is. We do have somebody on next Tuesday, but I can't remember who it is. So it'll be a nice little surprise. You'll get some notice about an hour before the show, probably. But yeah, Davo, good luck on the weekend, mate. We won't see you at baseball this Saturday, but yeah, best
Oh,
wishes,
mate, it's
mate.
at Phoenix. We've had about not even an inch worth of rain, so we'll probably be called off too wet.
Gone. Too wet. Way too wet. Yeah. All right, fellas.
Doing.
Peace out.
All right, guys.
Yes, everyone.
Hooroo.